There is a specific kind of financial stress that is almost impossible to talk about, not because it is too painful, because it is too embarrassing. It is the stress of earning good money, real money, more money than most people around you, more money than you ever imagined earning at 24, and still feeling underneath the salary and the apartment and the title and the carefully maintained exterior of a life that is clearly working, like you are one unexpected expense away from something you cannot name, but can feel every time you open your banking app and the number is lower than it should be. It is the stress of not being able to explain why, of doing the math and having the math not make sense, of earning $180,000 a year and lying awake at 3 in the morning calculating whether the car repair and the tax bill and the credit card minimum and the rent increase can all coexist in the same month without something breaking. It is the stress that has no socially acceptable language because you earn $180,000 and people who earn $180,000 are not supposed to be stressed about money. So you do not say it. You keep the exterior intact. You smile at the right moments and order the right things and wear the right clothes and perform the version of yourself that the salary suggests you should be. And privately, quietly, in the gap between what the number on your paycheck says and what the number in your account shows, you wonder what is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. Everything is wrong with the trap. Dr. Simone Carter is 41. She is an emergency medicine physician in Chicago. She earns $310,000 per year. She drives a leased BMW she cannot fully afford. Her children attend a private school that costs $34,000 per year. Her apartment is $6,200 per month. Her student loans, the loans that funded the decade of education that produced the $310,000 salary, are $2,400 per month. Her clothing, grooming, and professional appearance costs run to approximately $1,800 per month because the hospital environment and the patient relationships and the career she has built require her to look a specific way, and that way costs money. She cannot come up with $8,000 without selling something or going into debt. She earns $310,000 per year, and she cannot come up with $8,000. Dr. Carter is not a cautionary tale about someone who got it wrong. She is a Goldman Sachs statistic, one of the 41% of Americans earning between $300,000 and $500,000 who report living paycheck to paycheck. She is the high-income poverty trap made visible. And today, we are going through exactly how the trap works, why it catches high-earning women with particular force, and the 5 steps that get you out of it before it costs you the retirement you have been working toward for 2 decades. Let me start with the number that most people find genuinely difficult to believe. According to a 2025 Goldman Sachs report, 41% of Americans earning between $300,000 and $500,000 live paycheck to paycheck. 40% of those earning over $500,000 report the same. And a payment study found that 48% of those earning $100,000 or more feel they are living paycheck to paycheck. Read those numbers again. Not people who are struggling by conventional definition, people who earn more in a month than most Americans earn in a year. Nearly half of them. No financial cushion, no meaningful margin. The same low-grade financial anxiety that most people assume disappears above a certain income threshold. Still there, fully intact, just wearing more expensive clothes. The assumption that income solves financial problems is one of the most pervasive and most expensive beliefs in personal finance. It does not solve them. It scales them. It replaces small financial problems with large financial problems and wraps both in a lifestyle that makes the problems invisible from the outside and isolating from the inside. Here's how it works. Income increases. Lifestyle increases to match. Savings rate stays flat. Net worth grows slowly or not at all. The income that was supposed to create security instead creates a more expensive version of the same insecurity. This is lifestyle inflation, and it is not a character flaw. It's a predictable, documented, almost universal human response to increased income, unless it is actively and deliberately interrupted. Dr. Carter did not make extravagant choices. She made reasonable ones. Every single item in her monthly budget felt justified at the time it was added. The BMW was a lease, manageable monthly, appropriate for her professional standing. The private school was a considered decision about her children's education. The apartment was selected for proximity to the hospital and the safety of the neighborhood. The wardrobe was a professional requirement, not a luxury. Each decision in isolation was defensible. Together, they created a fixed cost structure that consumed $310,000 per year, as efficiently as $60,000 would have consumed the salary of a teacher. The income changed, the financial anxiety did not. This is the trap. Not one bad decision, but a series of individually reasonable decisions that collectively build a lifestyle requiring every dollar of a very large income to maintain, with nothing left over to build the wealth that the income should, by any reasonable expectation, be producing. The high income poverty trap affects everyone, but it catches high earning women with a specific additional force that the general conversation about this topic almost never addresses. There are three reasons. The first is the appearance premium. Dr. Carter's $1,800 per month in professional appearance costs is not vanity. It is a documented professional reality for women in high visibility roles. Research on workplace appearance standards has consistently found that women in senior professional roles are held to a higher aesthetic standard than their male counterparts, and that failure to meet that standard has measurable career consequences. The male equivalent of Dr. Carter at her hospital spends approximately $200 per month on professional appearance. She spends $1,800. The $1,600 monthly difference, $19,200 per year, is not a choice she made carelessly. It is a tax levied by a professional environment that holds women to standards it does not apply to men. $19,200 per year, invested at 8% over 20 years, is $1,040,000. The appearance premium doesn't just cost Dr. Carter money every month, it costs her a retirement account over a career. The second is the imposter syndrome spend. High-earning women are more likely than high-earning men to attribute their success to factors outside themselves. Luck, timing, being in the right place, being surrounded by the right people. Research on imposter syndrome documents this pattern extensively, and one of its most financially damaging expressions is the impulse to spend in ways that signal belonging, to look, live, and present in ways that confirm externally what the internal narrative doubts. The BMW is not just a car, it is proof. The apartment is not just a home, it is evidence. The wardrobe is not just clothing, it is a credential. When spending becomes a response to internal doubt rather than external need, the spending is never quite finished because the doubt is never quite resolved by the purchase. Dr. Carter knew this abstractly before I named it. She did not know it as a financial pattern with a calculable cost. The imposter syndrome spend is not unique to her. It shows up in the budgets of high-earning women at every income level, in every industry, in every city. It is the most expensive self-doubt most women have never identified as such. The third is the delayed investing problem. High-earning women are more likely than high-earning men to delay investing, not because they lack the income, but because the same confidence gap that shows up in lower income brackets doesn't disappear at higher ones. It just gets more expensive. Dr. Carter did not open her investment account until she was 36. By that point, she had been earning over $200,000 per year for 4 years. The 4 years between 32 and 36 at a $2,000 monthly contribution at an 8% annual return represent approximately $115,000 in compounding retirement wealth she did not build, from a confidence gap on an income that had no financial justification for the gap. High income doesn't cure the confidence gap. It just means the gap costs more per year. Step 1. Calculate your wealth accumulation ratio and be honest about what you find. The wealth accumulation ratio is a benchmark developed in the research behind The Millionaire Next Door. The formula is simple. Multiply your age by your pre-tax annual income, then divide by 10. The result is what your net worth should be at your income level and age. Dr. Carter at 41 earning $310,000 per year. 41 times $310,000 divided by 10 equals $1,271,000. Her actual net worth is approximately $180,000 after subtracting her student loan balance and other debts from her assets. The gap between what her wealth accumulation ratio says she should have and what she actually has, $1,091,000. That is not a number to feel ashamed about. It is a number to act on. Because the gap between the ratio and reality is the precise measure of how much the lifestyle inflation, the delayed investing, the appearance premium, and the imposter syndrome spend have collectively cost her. It is the trap made quantifiable. Run your own ratio. Age times pre-tax income divided by 10. Compare it to your actual net worth. The gap is your number, the number you are now going to close. Step 2. Automate savings before you see your income. This is the most effective single intervention available to anyone caught in the high-income poverty trap, and it works because it removes willpower from the equation entirely. The trap persists not because high earners are unwilling to save, but because they build their lifestyle around their gross income rather than their post-savings income. Every dollar hits the checking account. The lifestyle expands to consume it. The savings happen last from whatever remains, which is usually very little. The correction is structural, not motivational. Before your lifestyle can adjust to your income, redirect a fixed percentage to investments automatically. Set it up so the transfer happens within 24 hours of your paycheck arriving, before you see the balance, before you register the income, before the lifestyle has a chance to absorb it. Dr. Carter set up an automatic 20% transfer to her investment accounts on the day her paycheck posts. Her lifestyle now operates on the remaining 80%. She did not reduce her income, she changed the order in which it moves. Her lifestyle adjusted to the 80% within 2 months without a single dramatic sacrifice. The 20% is now building wealth at a rate that, within 10 years, will close the gap her wealth accumulation ratio revealed. The lifestyle adjusts to what arrives. Make sure the right amount is arriving. Step 3. Define enough in writing today. High earners without a defined enough live in permanent financial dissatisfaction. The goalpost keeps moving. The income increases, and the definition of comfortable increases alongside it. The $200,000 earner feels she needs $300,000 to feel secure. At $300,000, the number shifts to $400,000. At $400,000, it shifts again. There is no arrival because the destination was never defined. The Schwab Modern Wealth Survey found that Americans believe you need $2.3 million to be considered wealthy. The same survey found that people at $1 million believe they need $2 million to feel financially comfortable. The hedonic treadmill does not stop running because the income increases, it speeds up. The only way off the treadmill is to define in writing what enough looks like for your specific life, not an aspirational enough, a genuine one. What annual spending would allow you to live well, comfortably, with genuine enjoyment without excess that doesn't actually improve your daily experience? Write that number down. Then structure your financial life around earning towards that number and investing everything above it. The number is your enough. Stop moving it. Dr. Carter's honest enough, the annual spending that would genuinely satisfy her without requiring her to perform a version of her life for other people's perception, was $180,000, not $310,000. She had been spending $310,000 because she earned $310,000, not because the additional $130,000 was producing $130,000 worth of genuine satisfaction. It was producing a lifestyle she had to maintain, rather than a life she was choosing. The $130,000 above her enough is now her wealth building margin from one honest conversation with herself. Step 4. Run the opportunity cost on every major fixed expense. Every significant fixed cost in your life has a calculable opportunity cost, not a vague sense that it's expensive, an actual number. What that monthly expense would be worth in retirement wealth if it were invested instead. Dr. Carter's BMW lease is $1,100 per month. At 8% over 20 years, that's $651,000 in retirement wealth she chose not to build. From a car that gets her to work and back, that depreciates every month, that impresses people she doesn't know, and whose opinion has no material effect on her life. Neutrally, presenting the next fact, her private school tuition is $34,000 per year, a legitimate, considered choice about her children, but a choice made with full awareness of its cost. $34,000 per year invested at 8% over 15 years while her children are in school is $935,000 in retirement wealth. She is choosing to spend that wealth on her children's education. That may be the right choice, but it's a $935,000 choice, not a $34,000 per year routine. Those are different things, and they require different levels of intention. Run this calculation on your three largest discretionary fixed expenses, the 20-year opportunity cost. Write it down next to each one. Then decide, knowing the actual number with clear eyes as a conscious choice, whether the expense is worth its real cost. Some will be, some will not. Both answers are acceptable. The only unacceptable answer is not knowing the number. Step 5. Measure your wealth by optionality, not by appearance. This is the reframe that changes everything about how high earning women think about money, and it's the one the financial system is least interested in teaching because optionality doesn't generate fees. Optionality is the measure of what you can choose, not what you own, not what your apartment looks like or what car is in the garage or what school your children attend. What you can choose. What you can say yes to because you have the financial margin to say yes. What you can say no to because you have the financial margin to say no. Can you leave the job that is destroying you? Not think about it, not consider it. Leave today, without the departure requiring a financial plan spanning 18 months. Can you take 3 months off to recover from the burnout that your body has been signaling for 2 years? Not plan to eventually, take now. Can you say no to the client who disrespects you, the one you have kept because you couldn't afford to lose the income, not because the relationship served you? Can you retire at 58 instead of 67? These are not rhetorical questions. They are the actual measure of financial success, and they are only available to women who have built margin between their income and their spending, who have chosen deliberately and repeatedly to let the enough be enough and invest the rest. Dr. Carter could not answer yes to any of them at 41, despite earning $310,000 per year, because the trap had consumed every dollar of the margin that the income should have produced. The goal is not to be impressive. The goal is to be free. And free is built by margin, not by income. 6 months after Dr. Carter ran her wealth accumulation ratio and saw the $1,091,000 gap between where she was and where she should be, she made 4 changes. She set up the 20% automatic investment transfer, she calculated her honest enough, and found it was $130,000 per year below what she was spending. She ran the opportunity cost on her 3 largest fixed expenses and made one change. She ended the BMW lease when it expired and bought a 3-year-old Audi with cash. Not a dramatic sacrifice, a deliberate trade. The lease payment became an investment contribution. She did not pull her children from private school. She did not downsize her apartment. Practically, realistically, she did not perform a dramatic lifestyle overhaul that would have been unsustainable within 6 months. She made 3 targeted changes to the spending that was not producing genuine satisfaction and redirected the freed margin to her investment accounts. Her wealth accumulation ratio gap at 51, if she maintains these 4 changes, is approximately $180,000, down from $1,091,000. Not because her income increased, because her enough finally had a number, and the number, for the first time, was honest. 5 steps, one trap, a way out that does not require you to abandon the life you have built, just to build it more deliberately. Fast 1. Calculate your wealth accumulation ratio. Age times pre-tax income divided by 10. Compare it to your actual net worth. The gap is your number, the number you are now going to close. 2. Automate 20% of your income to investments before your lifestyle sees it. The lifestyle adjusts to what arrives. Make sure the right amount is arriving. 3. Define your enough in writing today, not an aspirational number, an honest one. Structure everything above it as wealth building margin. Stop moving the goalpost. 4. Run the opportunity cost on your three largest fixed expenses. The 20-year number. Write it down. Decide consciously. The only wrong answer is not knowing the number. 5. Measure your wealth by optionality, not by appearance, not by income, by what you can choose. The goal is not to be impressive. The goal is to be free. Dr. Carter earned $310,000 per year and could not come up with $8,000. She is 41% of high earners in America. She does not have to stay in the trap. Neither do you. Your one action this week is to run your wealth accumulation ratio. Age times pre-tax annual income divided by 10. Write the number down. Then calculate your actual net worth. Everything you own minus everything you owe. Write that number down beside it. The gap between them is not a judgment. It is a starting point. It is the precise measure of how much the trap has cost you so far, and the precise measure of what is still available to recover if you start the 5 steps now. I will link a free net worth calculator in the description that walks you through every asset and liability category, takes 15 minutes, produces the number you need to act on. And I want to hear from you. In the comments below, what is the one thing on this list that landed for you? The imposter syndrome spend? The appearance premium? The goalpost that keeps moving? Name it, because naming it is the first step to it costing you less. This channel exists because Ruth's story, which you heard in script 5, is too common. Because Diane's story is too common. Because Dr. Carter's story is too common. Because the financial system was built around someone who does not look like us and has never once had to calculate the cost of being a woman in a world that charges us for it at every turn. We are building something different here, a community of women who know the numbers, run the math, and refuse to let the system make their financial future smaller than their capability deserves. Subscribe. Share this video with the high-earning woman in your life who is privately stressed about money and publicly performing fine. She knows who she is. So do you. She deserves to know she is not alone, and she deserves to know there is a way out.